Season 2 of the Pat and JT podcast.
Oh man, I'm here at last. The best time, always gonna be the best. Come on!
Exclusively on the Hurrdat Media Network.
Text at 402-403-9478. Got a text from Laura.
Yes.
In reference to the best Gif of All Time cup that I gave my son. Referencing two episodes ago.
Okay.
It says, so I have a text in reference to your coffee cup. My husband and I are Hawkeye fans. Sorry about that. Well, his Husker fan friend.
Do we have to mark this as explicit now?
Oh, I already did.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay.
See less from Laura. I'm just kidding, Laura. Well, his Husker fan friends text a link saying something like Kirk Ferentz being forced to resign. Neither of us clicked on it and immediately forwarded it to my dad, who's also a Hawkeye fan. Oh. My dad texts back, quote, "Do you have any idea what you just sent me?" End quote. Well, the link opened to a picture of the famous GIF that was on your coffee mug. I about died. Laura, that's fantastic. I'm sure your dad was like, what?
That is
Did
awesome.
You get hacked?
Guaranteed. Guaranteed clicks in Iowa. Guaranteed
right?
clicks,
oh,
right?
For
and the
sure.
periphery. Just spread it. Send it to everybody.
And if it had said Scott Frost forced to resign, I'd be like, what? Click.
Immediately.
Yep.
It's like Britney Spears topless. Click. That's all the guys do.
Click.
That's why they do it.
That's why we do it.
That's why the headline never matches the story.
Yep.
It's all for the clicks. And speaking of the clicks, you go back through 2021 because seriously, only have a couple episodes left for this year.
Right. Yeah. Crazy. It's hard to believe.
And then January 3rd is here, and we're back to normalcy before you know it. But so taking a look at the top stories, don't want to do the regular stuff because I don't want anything that starts with vaccine in it.
Oh God! Did you see? Now for a long time, for whatever reason, I've always been a fan of Shepard Smith. He used to be on Fox. Now I think he's on CNN
think his
now.
delivery, honestly,
I love him.
I always appreciated I liked the way he put his shows together. I liked his humor.
Yeah.
And it was off the cuff. It sounded so natural.
Right. And it was,
right?
I believed him. I felt he was genuine.
Yes.
Whatever. I've never watched him since he moved to wherever, CNN CNBC or wherever he moved.
His entire. I mean, and I don't understand why he's not gained new viewers. I mean, you can blame it on the network he was with. That okay, fine. The Fox viewers didn't go to CNN because really, I mean, what happened is that he, for lack of better terms, he came out as leaning left. And oh my God. And I'm like, come on. He had one of the highest rated shows.
Because he was good.
Because he's great. He was
really.
He does.
He was a great interviewer. He's a great storyteller. He was just really good. And I'm sorry if you didn't know that if you were shocked when he came out left.
Yeah.
It's like we kind of all figured.
We kind of knew that,
right? Like, and who cares?
But it was because the way he presented stuff. He did such a good job of staying right down the middle of the road. Mm-hmm. As they say, the only thing in the middle of the road is roadkill, right?
Yeah. That's
one saying. But another way is that's the way it should be. When as a reporter.
Yes, it should be.
You've got opinion shows, but you have reporters. But yeah, and I'm just shocked that he hasn't been embraced on his new network by that audience.
And I didn't know that he even hadn't, because I haven't seen it. I haven't watched his show for years since he left Fox.
I think he's on the weekends even.
I
don't even think he's got a main.
Well, I just logged onto Twitter today, and right when I opened it up, there was a video of him, and it was, I don't know, somebody shared it. It was him saying on whatever network he's on now, like 90 seconds of him saying, I am so sick of COVID. I'm so sick of vaccines. I'm sick of talking about it. I'm sick of reading about it. I'm sick of everybody being scared about it. Yes. He goes, I follow all the rules. I do everything I'm supposed to do. And I want to just move forward. I am so sick of having to report on this every day. And I'm like, I get it. I totally understand. I'm so sick of talking about everything on the news. Every single thing on the news has something to do with COVID or vaccines or this. It's good Lord.
And everything's on fire.
Yes.
Everything is an emergency.
Yeah.
And you get exhausted because not everything is an emergency.
No.
And wasn't it just this last week they came out with, they were changing the number of days you had to quarantine if you have if you test positive, or if you have an encounter.
If you're vaccinated and you have an encounter, it's 5 days.
It was 10.
It was 10.
And they changed it to 5 on the same day. They said we're going to make a mandate about you have to wear a mask while flying.
It was funny.
And it's like, wait.
Did you see the video of that lady? For when I went down, where'd I go last? Oh, when we went to New York a couple weeks ago, flew Delta. Hadn't flown Delta in forever. And Delta's stressful. I mean, Southwest, I love going on an airline. Like, Southwest is awesome. But Delta's just, with their rules and their blah, 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 it's just a lot. So there's a video that came out yesterday of a lady that slapped and spit on an 80-year-old man for taking his mask down while he ate.
Yes.
Well, the whole time she's screaming at this dude, she took her mask off and she's screaming. She ended up getting arrested and turned over to the feds.
I heard she's a former NFL cheerleader.
Oh,
and
really?
Something else, and she got a. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard, and maybe a former playmate, like Playboy or something.
Yeah,
there was something that came, and they called her something Annie, and I can't remember.
Crazy Annie. Well, because she looked like a lunatic.
She snapped.
Oh, and I don't understand why. Of everything going on, you snap at an 80-year-old man who has his mask off while he's eating, which is supposedly what you're supposed to be able to do.
He was just sitting there. Yeah. And she walked by him, and so, they hadn't even taken. Had they taken off? Yeah, they were in the air. Were they? They must have been.
They must have been. Yeah, because he was eating. So yeah, and then as soon as they landed, she was handcuffed and put in the back. And then when they landed, she was turned over to the feds.
FBI. Yeah.
Just calm down.
Seriously.
But I get everybody's just sick of it.
Because most people, and on a plane in particular, I think they said the air moves around like every 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. All the air is completely cleaned every 2 minutes in a plane. You're probably the safest place you can be.
Right.
Is in a plane.
That makes sense.
And we knew that before, just based on whether you're in a car or in a plane, you were safer in a plane by the sheer number of accidents that happen each year with planes. But now when it comes to ventilation, it's probably even safer than it used to be. But it is, for sure, everything is completely, run through the system every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like the pool water. Right? That's constantly being run through the filter. I mean, everything is being cleaned constantly. You couldn't be in a better situation. But it's just that everybody is so, and on top of it, they're mad at you, or like this, they get mad at you when you're on the plane and you happen to take off your mask so you can have a bite. But yet you're sitting shoulder to shoulder with everybody.
Right.
So
it makes no sense. It's so stupid.
It doesn't add up.
It's so stupid. That's where back to Shepard Smith. That's where I get his frustration. And he's just sick of it. And it's like, it's just we're just over it. Let's just move on to something else. We get it's there. We'll deal with it for the rest of our lives, but let's just move on to something else.
It's got to be hard. In his situation too, I can imagine, because he is that, he always has presented himself, at least, very common sense guy, like bottom line.
Yeah.
And called things out that need to be called out, right? But to be put in the position where you have to hair on fire every day, but you are contradicting what you just said 3 days ago.
It'd be frustrating.
And trying to maintain your credibility at the same time.
Yeah, I am with you, Shep.
I'm with you. So speaking of that, let's go with the best story. So I'm looking for stories that don't have the word vaccine or COVID in them.
Perfect.
Right? So I'm like, okay, top what stories? What stories are we looking for? Florida man.
Love me a good Florida man story.
Florida man stories, underrated. And I haven't been, for the longest time, I haven't been on FARC. And if you haven't
heard that word FARC in a long time.
Right? FARC.com, FARK, if you haven't been there. If you're just looking for a break and you just want to see people doing dumb shit,
go to FARC.
That's where this is all collated and it's all put together, and they have it day to day. You can see all the latest stupid human tricks at FARC.com.
It's fun.
And they put a compilation together of the best Florida man stories for 2021. So just run the headlines and maybe a little overview. Florida man tried robbing Waffle House with finger guns.
Hey, I've seen, if it's in your pocket, I understand. You could do that.
So they said that this guy walked into Waffle House with a small dog and pointed his hands into finger guns and yelled, "Get on the ground, y'all getting robbed."
Oh, so it wasn't even like hiding in his pocket?
Wasn't in his pocket.
Okay. Not so scary.
But apparently he was drunk and high, and he did grab some napkins and then left the store. Okay. They found the would-be armed robber at his home, where he admitted to robbing the restaurant.
If you go into a restaurant without saying "I'm robbing you" and you just hold your finger up like a gun, can you get in trouble for that? Like if you just go in and if you say "Give me your money" and you hold your finger up and they're like "No," and he leaves, is that still robbery? Attempted robbery?
I think that's right up there with yelling fire.
You just can't do it.
You just can't do that. And he did steal napkins.
Okay.
So. And he needed help, so it's a good thing they arrested him.
Yeah.
Next one is going to be Florida man wielding sword sets fire in Roadway, floods the booking office after arrest. So he was in Titusville, Florida, and holding a sword, drinking alcohol, apparently.
Like what? Last
on
night,
the side of a road.
Beth and I were in bed last night, and she's like, "Did you see that story of that lady that stabbed her boyfriend with a sword?" She's like, "Who gets a sword? Where do you get a sword? Like, who gets like a sword?
I know. I don't know.
Like, where do you go to get a sword?" And
Saul's?
I mean, maybe
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I bet Saul's has one, but like, who gets a sword?
I think it'd be a red flag.
You think?
I mean, some. I imagine there are some really valuable swords that are like wall ornaments, right?
But still,
for somebody. But
so many other things to invest in.
it's not what Scott was doing. Scott was apparently in front of his house
With a sword.
and lit the fire. And when they showed up, he was holding the sword, and he had a knife in the waistband. Also, started chugging from a half-gallon sized Captain Morgan,
Okay.
and
Jeez.
and had no answers as to why he started the fire in the middle of the road.
But he
There
had
are,
a sword.
there are no answers. There are no. Do you remember the guy that caught the alligator with the trash can?
Yes.
That's the best video.
Yeah.
And when they talked to that guy, if you saw it, he tipped it over, right? And then he went at the alligator.
funny.
And it was probably, what, a 6-foot alligator,
was
maybe?
decent,
It was
yeah.
decent. And I mean, the thing could have spun on a dime and grabbed his leg. And
Yeah.
he was in his slides.
But I don't know why he, because right across the
Yeah.
street was the pond. So
Yeah.
I don't know why he insisted on catching him. Like, why didn't you guys just go inside and just let him? 5 minutes later, he'd have been gone. I don't know why he insisted on catching him, and it was funny.
He said he went into dad mode. He had young kids, and that's why he trapped it. Yeah, it was a 6-foot alligator. Anyway, and said once he was in the trash can, then he took it over to there and he dumped it into
I don't
the
know.
pond.
Like, maybe I'm a pussy, but that's like dad mode to me is get the kids in the house and shut the door and watch the alligator walk away. Like, that's dad mode. You don't have to be a warrior. Like,
he even, and what's funny is that there was a follow up to this, and it was on TMZ if I remember right. That there was he had when they talked to him, he said something about basketball player Ben Simmons is a basketball player, but anyway,
Okay.
he referenced not going to be a Ben Simmons. Basically, he was going to hit the can, right? He
Oh,
was making
okay.
getting the buckets,
Yeah.
right. There was some reference to
Okay.
the NBA player, and then that got pulled in. But he was also later captured on camera wrangling a snake with a towel.
dad mode again.
Dad mode again, apparently. I don't know. I think there's. It sounds like there's a little hero syndrome going on.
Yeah, it's like just
Gonna get hurt.
Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes, dude.
All right, we have potholes around here.
Yes, we do.
They have potholes in Florida. Florida man, tired of the potholes, so he planted a banana tree in one.
Okay.
Yeah. So he said, you know what? He has a business on the street, and the county kept telling him that the responsibility to keep the roads up falls on the business owners in that area.
That's a bunch of garbage.
And so he said, okay, fine. So he bought a banana tree and he planted it in the middle of the road.
That's a bunch of crap.
That is.
The streets?
I wonder, I wonder what their wheel tax is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like our wheel tax here is.
If it was
Is
up
what's
to
supposed to take care of
the citizens to take care of our streets, they'd look a lot better than they do
I think they would too.
than when the city does it.
I hate to say that, but it's true.
Yeah.
Because you've seen it happen on some of the roads that are a little less traveled, where they just take it upon themselves to take
Just
care of
fix it, yeah.
and they just do it, and then they get in trouble because they do it because they weren't
It's too
supposed to.
good.
Then this one, just the headline. I didn't even read the story. Florida man sprays bear repellent inside Bath and Body Works. Dozens injured.
I can imagine.
35 people injured when he was spraying the repellent in Bath and Body Works. And then he stole 2 bags of candles.
So he's trying to blind them so he could steal? 2 bags of candles.
He's in Bath and Body Works, which already is just a sensory overload.
Yeah.
A lot of people coughing. It wasn't that close to him, but he said that some of the people were saying you could smell it and we could breathe it. The manager was injured also in serious condition because she was nearby when he sprayed it, but then he just took off with candles.
Okay.
Sounds like a lot of work to get some candles.
Right. You wait for their semi-annual whatever sale and you get 5 or 6 candles for $20, dude.
Crazy. Florida man steals entire stacks of lottery tickets, returns in new clothes to steal safe.
What? So he must have been. So the lottery tickets must have been pretty
I
lucrative.
don't think he took that much time, but they said he did a quick costume change after he stole all the lottery tickets he could from a convenience store. And then he was caught on camera. After doing that, he returned shortly afterwards in different clothes and tried to snag the cash register and safe, which turned out to be empty.
I get it. That's what I do for samples at Costco. Take my shirt off and then take my sweatshirt off and go back in a t-shirt. So I get where he's coming from. Same thing. Same
People don't pay attention.
They don't.
They didn't look at you in the face, did they? They just looked at. They just know some guy in a red shirt, now some guy in a green shirt.
Nope. The lady has her script memorized. These lobster raviolis are from blah 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 blah. They're $9.99 for a 25-pack right now. Thank you. They don't even look up.
And then the number one story they have on this list, I don't know if they're in any particular order. Do you remember Dr. Love?
Dr. Love.
From Florida. A Florida man actually, it didn't, it said here was, Florida man who made headlines after impersonating a doctor as a teenager. Remember that?
Kinda, yeah.
So apparently he made headlines again. And I think that happened a couple years ago. But it said that it didn't take long for Florida man to strike this year. So this is like January 1st of last year that this one came out. Florida man made headlines after impersonating a doctor as a teenager, stole from the patient, now behind bars again. So the guy, Malachi Love Robinson, known as Dr. Love, was arrested for fraud and grand theft, according to the news station, said that he'd been working for a shipping broker and had defrauded clients out of $10,000. But initially he was Dr. Love and had, as a teenager, had been hired and had worked in a medical facility.
I do remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was very Catch Me If You Can-y.
Yes.
Yes, I do remember that.
And if you looked at him at first, you didn't. It's like, wow, he is a teenager.
Yeah.
You were.
What?
Oh.
But you go into normal doctors and nurse practitioners and nurses, they look like they're teenagers anyway. They look all, everybody looks so young.
That's true too. Here's this. So Dr. Love, repeatedly, I'm making lofty. That's him. You look at that picture and you look at it at first glance, you could see where he looks 30, but you also see where he looks 17.
Yeah. At a quick glance, you're like, yeah, you're 30.
Yeah. He'd faked being a doctor, swindled a patient who once tried to forge his way also into a Jaguar, was spared from serving decades in prison, back in trouble again. That's Malachi. When that was what came out. He's 23 now.
Tried to swindle his way into a Jag?
So he was trying to buy one. Yeah. Tried to forge his way into buying the Jaguar.
Dude put that much energy into just doing something legit.
That's just
obviously
crazy.
He's a smart guy.
He's got to be.
Yeah.
To get away with, he obviously got, can you imagine being a patient?
Oh, man. And it actually turned out okay. And you're like, I dodged a bullet on that one.
Right?
That dude, Malachi, knew nothing
Do you
about
have to
medicine.
pay him, though?
I wouldn't. No, if my insurance tried to make me pay, not a chance.
So see, all in all, we're not, Florida, for all the Florida offers.
Yeah.
They have Florida man.
If you're feeling bad about whatever your situation is, we always have Florida. Thanks for listening.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Hurrdat Media Production.